Memorial tattoos are a unique way to remember someone who's died. Why are these tattoos so meaningful, and how can they help during your grief journey? You're listening to Heartbeat from the Heart of Hospice. I'm Jerry Finter, here with Helen Bauer.
Whether you're a family caregiver or an end-of-life professional, we're here to enhance your hospice experience by connecting you with information you can use about end-of-life care. Because we know how busy life can get, Heartbeat is designed to give you helpful information in a bite-sized format.
I'm going to ask you a really personal question.
Is this the point where I have the disclaimer and I say I may choose not to answer this?
Of course, of course.
Okay, hit it, Nosy Nelly. What you got?
Okay. Do you have any tattoos?
I have some temporary tattoos that I ordered online. No, okay. I don't have any permanent tattoos.
Okay. Neither do I. I have 5 children, and 3 out of the 5 have tattoos. So it skipped a generation, I guess. No, my parents didn't have tattoos either. However, tattoos have become a very normal part of our culture.
Yeah, much more mainstream here in the U.S.
It is. And we are seeing more and more people who are getting what we would call a memorial tattoo.
Okay, so what's a memorial tattoo?
So a memorial tattoo is a tattoo that a person would get to remember someone that has died.
Yeah. Memorialize, yeah.
Right. Could be the person's name or a symbol that related to that person.
I like this idea. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so it's a customized tattoo designed to remember someone who is important.
So I have 2 daughters, and both of my girls have tattoos. One of them has a tattoo of the number 13 because she was born on Friday the 13th. It's her lucky number. She loves that number, and we've always told her that, it was our lucky day when she was born on the 13th. So she has that. But my other daughter has a daylily tattooed on her, and it was something that she shared with my grandmother, so her great-grandmother. So it's, in a way, it is a remembrance tattoo. I never thought about it that way, but I guess it really is.
Yeah, it really would be.
That's kind of cool. So I really like the idea of this. It's definitely something that's very personal, but they have some benefits. Studies have shown that they actually benefit our grief journeys when we do this, which I think is really remarkable because it is intensely personal and it's literally inked on your skin.
Right. How much more meaningful can it get than that? So here's another way to think about this too. All right. When we talked to David Kessler about his book, The 6th Stage of Grief, making meaning,
right,
or finding meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is this not one of the possible ways of making meaning out of the death of someone we love?
Oh, nice thought.
I really think it is in some ways. And it does provide meaning, but it also provides the griever with that benefit of having that constant reminder right there.
It's that connection.
Yeah. And, we often think, the constant reminder is what makes grief harder. No, I don't think it is.
No.
I think constant reminders actually make it easier. We often tell people, it's okay to say the name of your person who died. Say their name. Remember them. Let other people say their name. Encourage other people to say their name.
Right.
One of the tattoos that many people will get is the name of the person.
Right. To stay healthy as a caregiver, you need healthy self-care. Whether you're a hospice professional or a family member providing care for someone who's seriously ill, it's important to take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. At theheartofhospice.com, you can find self-care resources under the Learn menu. These resources will help you maintain healthy habits and find new activities to add to your self-care regimen. Caregiving is challenging. We want you to stay healthy while you do it. Check out our tips for accountability partners, self-care when you're traveling, sleep hygiene, and creative ways to feed your spirit. Your end-of-life journey matters. You are the Heart of Hospice. Now back to today's episode. John Legend, the singer, his wife Chrissy Teigen, lost a baby, preterm miscarriage. They had already picked out the baby's name, and they were very public about the loss. And that's one of the things that, one of the reasons they made it so public is because that grief is so difficult, and it's often a very private grief for a couple or for a woman. And so she had the baby's name tattooed on her forearm, on her wrist area. And I love that. It's so visible, not just to other people, but to her. And we read an article not too long ago about Robin Williams' daughter. After he committed suicide, she had a hummingbird tattooed on her hand.
Okay, so this is very interesting. People have asked her why a hummingbird.
Yeah.
And she said it was because the hummingbird was very much like her dad, always going here and there and never staying in one place at one time.
The string of impressions that he did, moving flawlessly from one impression to the next, the same way a hummingbird beats its wings so many times a second.
Right. Yeah. He was just that kind of individual with a mind that just was constantly in motion, it seemed like.
And she put it on the hand that she shakes hands with. So every time she extends her hand to someone, there's this reminder of her dad. I just think that's a beautiful tribute. It's a physical connection that's never lost. It stays in your skin, which I think is a very outward expression of the grief feelings that we have. We have grief over the people that we lose, our people that have died that are important to us. And so much of that is unexpressed. But maybe in a way, isn't it a relief to actually put it into physical being? Some of the studies have shown too that there's something about the actual physical pain. There's some discomfort that comes with getting a tattoo.
Right.
Connecting that with the emotional, the spiritual pain that comes with having a loss in your life.
Very interesting.
Yeah. It's a way of keeping that person close to you, that physical connection. I remember after my grandmother died, there were things when they closed her house down, they would say, "Oh, would you want her sewing machine?" That was something she and I used to do together. And I said, "Oh, yes, I would love to have that." I already had a sewing machine.
Right. But
I
it really
didn't
wasn't
need
about
it.
that.
But for right then, that was what I wanted. It made me feel close to her. So can you imagine having a symbol or a name or a number or something special or words tattooed on your skin that would keep you close to somebody? That's pretty amazing.
I think it is. I have an Afghan that my mother made. I leave it out all the time. And when I take a nap, I'll get that Afghan and pull it up, over me, and it's close to me. And it's nice to have that. And so I can imagine what it would be like to have that tattoo that's constantly close to you, how important that is. So studies have also shown that it can be good for the mental health of the griever as well. It's kind of a way of doing something, taking action instead of letting the grief just run our emotions.
Right.
So it's really important to have that for the mental health of the griever. So people do it in lots of different ways. There's unique designs that they use, symbols. It's all very, very personalized in the way that they create their very special tattoo to memorialize their loved one. So if you're considering doing something like that, we hope that you will take into consideration some of these things that we've talked about, and perhaps it will be helpful for you as you are going through this grief journey to have something like that that's close to you, that means something very special to you about your loved one.
Thanks for listening to Heartbeat from the Heart of Hospice. I'm Helen Bauer with Jerry Fenter. Because we know your hospice journey is 24/7, you can always find us at theheartofhospice.com. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening, and please take a minute to leave a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts.
You can connect with us by just sending us an email to host@theheartofhospice.com. And you can also find us on social media. And remember, no matter who you are or where you are in your hospice journey, you are the heart of hospice.